tanong ko pala kay Ambassador, because you were also in Washington during the Duterte administration. I've been observing your pronouncements. Mukha ba mas may breath of fresh air ngayon? You can speak more freely about what is right in the West Philippine Sea?
Well, let's put it this way. Being an ambassador and you're appointed, of course, by the president, you follow what his thinking is.
Yes.
So my understanding of the thinking of then President Duterte was we want to approach this whole problem with China in a different way, which is basically to continue to talk to them. Remember, there was no communication after we filed the case in the UNCLOS. No? So there was no high-level communication with China. So President Duterte changed the tact. So he wanted to approach China and let's talk about it. Let's allow things. Let's allow our fishermen. Yes, to bring. And perhaps at that time it was fine. It was something that we wanted, that peaceful coexistence. But then continuous pa rin yung claim nila that they own this area. Remember, from 9 naging 10, naging 11 dash line. So medyo yan ang pwede natin sabihin. Teka muna. Hindi yata ganyan ang usapan natin. I mean, you have to respect whatever our territories is, which is given to us by the arbitral award. So, dun tayo that's where we're starting with President Marcos. His pronouncement is we will not give up 1 inch, 1 square inch of our territory, which is correct because it's in our constitution. The President of the Republic of the Philippines is compelled to protect the interests of the Philippines and protect our shores, our territory. If he does otherwise, he is liable constitutionally.
Did you feel a certain frustration noong time na yun that you couldn't talk about these things?
Alam mo, not really. Sa totoo lang, when you're a diplomat, you try to, as best as you can, to try to interpret what the foreign policy of the president is, who is the chief architect. So you interpret it in such a way that your hosts, which is the United States, would understand what we're trying to do. And to a certain extent, naiintindihan rin nila. The only problem really was when we started to, when President Duterte abrogated the visiting forces agreement.
Yes.
That was a big thing for the United States because that's very important in their whole strategy also.
And then EDCA was in trouble.
And of course, EDCA also was in trouble. So, yun medyo, that's really, I would say that that's probably one of the challenging times. But maybe it's an act of God. Nagkaroon ng pandemic. The pandemic was something that nobody expected. And we needed to work with a country like the United States, who obviously had the kind of vaccines that was needed for our people. So many people were dying of the pandemic. So I had to tell the president that we need to work with our ally to be able to be given at least first. Kasi you've got 200 plus countries who want the same thing. Siyempre, pag magkaibigan kayo, di uunahin nila yung mga kanilang allies.
So medyo
nawala tayo ng konti doon. Kailangan tayo bumalik sa linya na...
Nahirapan ba kayo? Bumalik sa linya?
To a certain extent, medyo sa totoo lang, I mean, I don't want to really make a big thing out of it, but I had the challenge. I had to go to the White House. I practically had to beg with them to help us because, alam mo, marami tayong mga kaibigan that were calling, kailan ba tayo magkakaroon ng vaccine? Because everybody was waiting for it. Kaya nga nawala sa atin yung 10 million, if you remember that Pfizer, that was being given to us in the beginning, but for some reason, hindi natin tinuloy yun. So nawala sa atin, nakuha ng Singapore. Medyo, siyempre, at saka meron ako isang kaibigan, sabi niya, kung dumating yung Pfizer, hindi namatay yung kapatid ko. So medyo, siyempre, may emotional feeling din tayo nun. We're feeling bad about it. So talagang I really had to tell our friends in the United States na tulungan ninyo kami because this will go a long way. We need your help at this time because it's our people already that are suffering. At sinabi ko kay Presidente, sabi ko sa kanya kay President Duterte, Sir, kailangan nating to work with them. In not so many words, balik na natin yung PFA. At
yun ang hiningi ng US.
Well, hindi naman in not in a direct way. They will never tell you, you give us this, we'll give you that.
Liquid
but there's always that. I mean, that's the reality of life. There's no such thing as a free lunch.
Kumbaga alam niyo na.
Basically, yes.
And when you had to quote-unquote beg the White House, how long before things were
Well, I
became
think,
smoother?
in fairness to President Duterte, he acted immediately because he knew that it's important for our people to get those vaccines. So the sooner we signed up, the better for us.
Ito rin ba yung time, Ambassador, na medyo parang naglaylo si President Duterte sa mga banat niya sa US?
Well, probably that could have been the reason why. Alam mo, pag ganyan ang situation natin, namamatay ang mga tao, wala ka nang, hindi mo na iisipin yung ano bang makukuha nating, or are we getting any arms that we need? Hindi na eh. Buhay na pinag-uusapan natin eh. So, I think he understood very clearly is the United States is one of the main suppliers for this important vaccine, which was not available anywhere else except to the U.S. and to other European countries. We had to get it.
Yung initial challenge, Ambassador, when then President Duterte spoke in China, di ba? Parang sabi niya, alis na kami sa US, pupunta kami sa fold nyo. I mean, how difficult was it for you to communicate or explain that with your hosts?
Well, I did not have to explain anything. The fact of the matter is they understood that President Duterte had his feelings towards the United States. They felt that way. And so they accepted it. My job was, as the President told me, just do your job. So I understood that to mean that I'll do my best to be able to assure our friends in the United States that the relationship continues no matter what. We will do our best to be able to come out to a situation where our friendship will remain even if we're trying to reach out as our policy then was friends to all and enemies to none. Pero hindi naman tayo naghahanap ng enemy. Tayong ginagawang enemy. So I think now, very clearly, there's no question about it, and everybody understands that the enemy is one that is being aggressive. If you stop being aggressive, then you are a friend.
Kung nagustuhan niyo po itong video na ito, paki-like at share na lang po para mas marami pang makakita at makapanood. Kung gusto niyo po makibalita, follow niyo na rin po ako sa aking mga social media accounts na nakasulat po sa screen. Pwede rin po kayo magpadala ng super thanks, super like, super chat at super sticker sa YouTube, saka Facebook stars po. Alam niyo po, malayo po mararating ito para makagawa pa po kami ng mas maraming video na makatutulong po sa pagpapakalat ng tamang impormasyon para sa bawat Pilipino. Kada like, subscribe, follow at share ay pagsuporta po sa tunay na independent journalism sa bansa. Maraming salamat po.